So a couple more halachas that I want to get into before the Heilige Yom Adin of Torah, which we're very looking forward to. Very, very exciting. Very, very exciting. We're going to sit there in the night, Mamash, Kabbalah, Torah. It's going to be unbelievable. But a couple of halachas that I want to make sure that we have clear before we start. You know, I've probably said this before, and sometimes I sound like a broken record, but it's kedai sometimes to do a little bit of chazara. You know, it is Shavuos. Shavuos is the yontiv of Kabbalah Torah. Kabbalah Torah means we got the Torah. What is in the Torah? Halachas, right? There are many halachas of how to keep things and whatever it may be. Wouldn't it be a shame if on the day of Kabbalah Torah, I'm sure I mentioned this before, on the day of Kabbalah Torah, we're not keeping the halachas because we don't know them, which is such a shame. Which is why you guys are going to hear the halachas that you have to know, which are very negay. The first one being one of the ikar mitzvahs hayom, very, very important, and that is the mitzvah of eating cheesecake. It's a very, very important minhag. We all know, Klal Yisrael Mamash. We spoke about this idea of what shaykhs has got to do with Shavuos. It's more got to do with Hanukkah, but this is not for now. The question is like this, and this is the main question of today. What bracha do you make on cheesecake? Okay? Now, let me give you a little bit of background to what we're discussing. And it's a very important shayla. And by the way, the shayla is negeya every single day of your lives when you eat something except a fast day. And that is like this. There's a Gemara, there's a Mishnah in Masechtas Brachos, which be'etzem is paskined in Halach and Orach Chaim Siman Reisha Beis. Okay? And the Shulchan Aruch basically goes like this. So again, it's a Gemara and Fusha Gemara. Whenever you have two items of food, okay, that are basically mixed and eaten together, how many brachas do you make? One. You don't make two. I'll give you an example. You have a fruit salad. In that fruit salad, just to make it simple, is apples and bananas. That's the fruit salad, okay? Now, you take a spoon, you dig in. On your spoon, you've got apples and bananas. What are you making now? A hadam or eitz? That's the shaila. Or another example. We'll get to it. Or another example. What's the other example? The other example will be for, let's say, cereal and milk. Very good, thank you. You've got cereal and milk, and you're taking a spoon. So you dig in, you've got cereal, and you've also got milk there. Or, for example, you've got a cracker with herring on it. Or, for example, you've got rice with pieces of, I don't know, they put like little eggs in it, or carrots, whatever. Sushi, cholent, right? There's a lot of foods that we eat that are mixed together or eaten together. Now, this does not mean that if you have a platter of fruit in front of you, and you've got a beautiful platter of fruit, and you've got, beautiful slices of apple and all sorts of things, and you've also got on the other side slices of banana, there you would be making two brachas, because they're two separate foods and you eat them separately. What we're discussing, okay, this is the background to the halacha of cheesecake, is the inyan of ikar v'tafel. Okay, there's a wonderful, wonderful book. If you want to be more frequent with these halachas, it's a great, great book. It's called the Pocket Halacha Series on Ikar v'Tafel. I recommend that everybody have one in their house and learn it before you eat. I don't know how you're going to eat without such a book. Anyway, no, it's really, really good. It happens to be. I don't know. I think I know the guy. Whatever. It's very good. Anyway, let's move on. So the question is like this. The question, well, suddenly Amazon, not Amazon, no, fell down link, no. How does it work? It sells on Amazon? I don't even know, they sell these things on Amazon? Someone drop ships it. Some yeshiva bacha out there in the middle of, some yeshiva bacha in the middle of nowhere found to make a few dollars, whatever it is. He's charging like $25 for a book that costs $3 in the store. But anyway, the question is like this, somebody's saying. So what do you do in all these situations? How do you convey the bracha? Now you guys eat cereal, and you've been eating cereal many times in your life. Mistoma, you know these halachas because you've eaten cereal. Many times you've had, I'll give you a great one by the way, shepherd's pie. It can be really English for that one, right? Shepherd's pie is gewaldig. Why do we like shepherd's pie? You like shepherd's pie, okay? You like shepherd's pie. What is shepherd's pie? You got the layer of the ground meat, and you got the layer of the mashed potato. What din the... I'm promoting a shaila, right? I still remember who asked me this shaila. Somebody called me up, he's no longer in the world, and he asked me the following shaila. He says, he likes the mashed potato on the top to be very, very crunchy. Very crispy and crunchy. Now his wife, for whatever reason, didn't manage to get it crunchy. She put it in too late, whatever. So he came home and it wasn't crunchy. So what am I going to do? I really enjoy it crunchy. So he had an eitzah. He took croutons, the small yellow croutons he put in his soup. He sprinkled them all over the top. This way the top layer will be crunchy. Okay? Now his shaila now is, Do you make a bracha on that, or do you not make a bracha on that? Okay? You ever saw salads? Nowadays, there's a new craze of salads, right? It used to be salad was a vegetable salad. It's turned into like they put fruit in now salads, right? So into a vegetable salad, they put fruit. I don't know. Give it to me for dessert, I'll have it. But in the middle of the meal, they got mango, pomegranate. Yeah, you're like, it's your pepper. Okay, fine. So you make a bracha on that? How does it work? What bracha do you make? What bracha do you make? It's illegal. Well, it's no more illegal than the apple kegel that you have in the middle of the meal. They call it apple kegel to middle of the meal, but it's a piece of cherry. It's for dessert. Okay, whatever. You know what? Each to their own. We'll deal with the Shalom Bayis questions afterwards. How to treat your wife and talk to your wife when you get to there. Anyway, let's move on to Rabbi side before things get very. The question is like this: how you convey which bracha to make? I'll give you another example. Steak salad. You know what? Let's leave that example for the moment. I'll tell you why. I want to give you the halacha, and then we'll go back to some examples. Okay, and then we'll go back to cheesecake. Are you with me? You sure? Yeah? We're good? Okay. There are two major halachas you have to know. Halacha number one is, the Gemara says, and again, Paskin and Shulchan Aruch, Veshid Beis, whatever is the roiv, that wins. The majority of the mixture wins. So if the majority of the mixture is ha'etz, even if there's some adama sprinkled around there, no problem. If the majority is mazonos, but there happens to be some adama there, no problem. If the majority, whatever the majority is, you look at the roiv. Right? Rove generally means, by the way, what's recognizable to be the rove, not like 51% after counting it, whatever, right? Now, that's rule number one. Rule number two is mazonos, right? And this betzim again is the Mishnah. Kol sheyesh boy. Anything that has a mazonos in it, mazonos always wins, even if it's the minority. So if you have a mixture of two things that are non-mazonos, hadoma and ha'etz, shahakol and hadoma, whatever the rove is, that's going to be the bracha that you make. And by the way, you cannot make two brachas, you have to make one bracha. You can't just say, I've heard this before, okay, I'll just make two brachas. The Pri Megadim says very clearly, you cannot make two. Now, so when you have a fruit salad in front of you with the bananas and the apples, you can't just say, big deal, I'll take the apple, make eight, I'll take the banana, make a doma. It doesn't work that way. You're not allowed to do that. Because once it's one food, it's a combination of two foods put together. It's one meichel, you eat it that way, it's got a din of one bracha. So you can only make one. Which one do you make? You go by the roif. Okay? Now, if you've got a mazonis in there, a mazonis always wins. Right? Rabbi said this is a klal, you have to know this forever. This is very, very important. Okay? What mazonis always wins, even if it is the minority. So just for a little bit of an example, if you've got, by the way, the Aruch HaShulchan says rice is not included in that. Because rice is like a fake mazonis. It's not a real mazonis. We know that. It's not one of the 5 grains. Right? It's not chametz on Pesach, right? Ashkenazim don't need it, but it's not ma'aseh chametz on Pesach. So it comes out that whatever is the roiv wins, or if it's got mazonis in there, okay? Even if it's the minority. Let me ask you a question. What din is a steak salad? You go to a restaurant and you order a steak salad. It costs you 125 shekel. What do you get there? Some lettuce and pieces of meat. What is the roiv? What is the roiv? For sure, vegetable. But the meat's chashav. But lemaisa, you can't say I'm eating a lettuce salad because I ordered a steak salad and I paid 125 shekel. I'm paying for the meat. What do you do there? What do you do by shepherd's pie? You can't tell me the meat is the main. I understand meat is protein, whatever, but I'm also eating potatoes. That's what fills you up. Sometimes the potatoes is even more. So I'm eating both of them. So you should know, in those cases, Rabbi Zion Orbach was masking to me that you'd actually make two brachas. When both of the foods are chashav, that you can't say one is the ikka and one is the toffel, one is the secondary, then you'd be masking, make two brachas. But if you have a fruit salad, they're both them in the ikka, then there is no problem. And you can, one is the ikka, one is the toffel, and then you're okay. Now let me give you another question. Shlomo, what's the din if you have a salad, which is a total big vegetable salad, and they put some nishnashim in there, right? They sprinkle it with those little salty crackers that you put for decoration, for a bit of a crunch, whatever it may be. Does the entire mixture, the whole salad, become a mazonos? So it really depends. If it's put in there as a chelik of the actual salad, being just like they put lettuce, they also put nishnashim. Then here, then it will get a din of a mazonos. But often they're putting it there for decoration. It looks nice. It gives it a little bit of a crunch. But you don't want the mazonis itself. So then it will not get a din of a mazonis. And that's what I told the fellow who put the croutons on top of his shepherd's pie. He didn't want the mazonis. He put the mazonis there. Why? As a toffel, just so it should be crunchy. Then the mazonis is toffel. Like the Gemara says, in the older... What's that? I don't want the mazonis for the mazonis shaboy. I want it for the crunch. If, for example, in an ice cream, you've got a few small pieces of like... What do they put in ice cream? They put in wafer or flakes or cookie dough, Oreos, a small amount, not a big amount, a small amount, and it's only there to make it look nice, to be a different flavor. But the mice, I'm not having it with the mazonis, I'm having ice cream, it's got a din of ice cream. It's only with the mazonis that, I'll give you the classic example, right? You have many things that we eat, have flour in them. Meatballs, burgers. You can often put flour in there, right? Why? Why do you put the flour in there? Not because you want to eat the flour, it's not a cake. It's because you're doing it to stick it together, ledabik. When you're doing the flour, the mazonis is there for a side reason, not for the oichel itself, not for the food, then the din is that it is a shakol or whatever it is, but it does not get a din mazonis because the mazonis is not there for the sake of the mazonis. Classic case, what about an ice cream cone with the ice cream on it?
Breaded chicken.
Breaded chicken, schnitzel. That's the big question. What bracha do you make on schnitzel? Very good, very good, very good. So they asked Rabbi Elyashiv this question. They went to Rabbi Elyashiv and said, Rebbe, what bracha do you make on schnitzel? You know what he answered? I don't understand. Well, when do you ever make a bracha on a schnitzel? You sit down, you wash, you have bread, and then you have a schnitzel. Who just takes a schnitzel and just eats it? He didn't understand such a thing. He didn't understand such a thing. So Rabbi Elyashiv Zatzal Lemais, that's what he said. I don't understand. Who just takes a schnitzel? A human being, any normal, self-respecting human being, sits down. You know, the Aruch HaShulchan says that the definition of being Kaveh Suda is having a jacket. You don't have a jacket, you're not being Kaveh Suda. Which, by the way, I want to tell you, was a huge mitzvah. Listen to this. I happen to know very well, like you do, the owner of one of the very, very popular airline meals that many of the airlines take for his meals, right? It's a Gavaldige Yid, a big Talmid Chacham. I love him very, very much. He's very close to the family. He's an amazing Yid. Anyway, so I asked him this question. I said, I don't understand. There you are, you're serving a whole, I don't know, we're getting off topic. You're serving a whole meal, and you write mazonis on the bread. Well, how can you do that? It's a Suda. Mamash, a ganze meal. Right, yeah, it's a Suda, like a restaurant, yes. Okay, I got carried away. But you know what I'm saying? No, it's good. I'm not talking about economy, I'm talking about business class. That's how you get on China. I have no idea. Actually, I have no idea. That's what they say. I give a peek in the curtain just to see how the best of mention are living, you know what I mean? Anyway, so that's the question. So you know what he told me? He told me this. He told me this, which he didn't tell me the Aruch HaShulchan. He told me Rav Padva, who's the head of the Kedasha, which is his extra, paskin that way. And then I found in the Aruch HaShulchan, I was very excited. That's not being Kaveh Suda. In an aeroplane, it's not being Kaveh Suda. Because I'm just going somewhere, right? Api Musa, that doesn't really work, by the way. Api Musa, a person's not meant to be just going somewhere. You are where you are. Take advantage of where you are. Okay, not for now. Anyway, Al Kaponim, we've gone completely off topic, but it's Gavaldik. The question, let's go back to the question. After all this, what is the bracha on cheesecake? What bracha are you making on cheesecake? So first of all, there are many cheesecakes out there, normally store-bought, that have a lot of flour in them. Right? Because it's cheaper. It's much cheaper. Often it's done there because it's a sponge cake with a cheese flavoring, right? Because it's a lot cheaper for them. The cheese is very expensive. So a lot of stores, I'm not talking about heavy, sometimes the cheesecake is actually heavy. Then you know it's got a lot of cheese in there. But it's a light, fluffy one. Often it's a cake with a cheese flavoring. That's a mazonis, by the way. That's a clear mazonis, right? That's a clear mazonis. Are you with me? You sure? You need to know what to do, right? Clear mazonis, okay? Let's talk about a regular cheese. You can see on it often, whatever. We need recipes. Yeah, it's true actually. We need recipes. Anybody want to say? You know, one time I announced something on the share, and we were discussing. No, it wasn't that. It was about a souffle. It was about a chocolate souffle. If you're allowed to heat up the chocolate souffle on Shabbos, because it has inside the liquid, right? So I don't remember when this was. It was years ago, but I remember at the time, like I'm not being sure about this, about that, the Matthias, whatever it was. That Friday night, I get a knock on the door. Someone comes with this chocolate souffle. I'd like to show you what the chocolate souffle is. Here's dessert for you, right? Unbelievable. I'm like, well, how do you know it was cooked? And maybe it was heated up on Shabbos. I can't eat it. Anyway, it was a good neighbor. But I'll upon him. Where am I? So that one is going to be a mazonis because that's like cake basically. Let's talk about the classic cheesecake. A lot of cheese with a biscuit layer on the bottom. Okay? So the question over here is, let's go to an ice cream cone. What bracha do you make when you have an ice cream cone in your hand and you have a ball of ice cream on top? Right? You go to ice cream house. What's it called? When there's no one here from Flatbush? Yes. Oh my gosh, there's no one here from Flatbush. They have one in What's an ice cream house? Okay, so this is let me explain to you. In America, they like a lot of gashmias. I'm going to get emails. No, they love ruchnius also, don't worry. But they like to have a little bit of gashmias. And they have a whole store just of ice cream.
No, the truck is different. You go back to England.
Okay.
Let me show you.
No, one second. Let's get this clear. No. Forget that. I said erase that. It's a building with its own car park just for ice cream. Now, I never met a guy who's like, let's go out for ice cream. It's a Lakewood, right? It's a Borough Park, that one? I never saw that one. But I really should charge for the advertising, right? Because everyone's going to go running over there. But I have a whole building just for ice cream means you love your gashmias. So they also sell bagels. Okay, very nice. Okay, the question is the ice cream cone with the ice cream on top. Right? Are you making 2 brachas or are you making 1 bracha? You making 2? Why?
Because it's not just the cone. It's usually a cone.
Well, you can't hold it in your hands. You can't hold ice cream in your hands.
Have you ever seen the cone? It's a waffle wrapped up.
Okay, you're right. Okay, I take it back. Where I come from England, you get a pashada, horrible, piece of cardboard, basically, that is holding your, ice cream ball. You don't make a bracha on that. But in America, where it's not going to be a cone. It's a waffle coated in chocolate with sprinkles and 16 different types of. Okay, muskim. On that you have minga bracha. But the poshet ones, so Rav Osner, for example, the Shevet HaLevi is a tshuva, and he says that it's only that you wouldn't eat the cone by itself if it's not so tasty. If that's the case, you're only going to be making a shahakol. You're not even making a mazonos. It's like, for example, a guy that likes to eat herring, right? He loves herring. But he cannot eat herring by itself. It's too salty, like the Gemara says, right? So what does he do? He takes a cracker, not because he wants the cracker, but only because the herring is too salty. Or let's say, for example, there's no fork by the kiddush. It's a good shtibel, right? There's no forks over there. You take your cracker, you dip it into the schmaltz herring, moedik, and you eat it. That is gavaldik. Absolutely gavaldik. It's mamish Canadian there, right? So we're going off topic again. What bracha? Why am I bringing this? Is the mazonos at the bottom of the cheesecake holding up the cheesecake? Or is it there because you want the mazonos? Or is it there because otherwise it's not a cake, it's a slab of cheese? So they put the cake underneath, so it should be a cake, right? That's really the shaila. So I think very much it depends on your kavana and also how much cake is there. In many stores they'll have a very thick layer of cake on the bottom, and therefore that's got a din of a mazonos, right? That's meaning the whole cake becomes mazonos because you've got a thick layer of cake on the bottom. But if you only have a very small, thin layer of cake on the bottom, and then a thick layer of cheese, and your ikik kavana is the cheese, so then 100% really it's a shahakol. I don't want to get this mistake. Now, I heard a very interesting idea one time, how it's vade going to be a mazonos. Listen to this. What was the whole yesod? You remember the shit? What was the whole yesod why you eat cheese on a Shavuos? The main reason is the Ramah that brings a maril, which is because a zeicha of the shtei alechem. What's the shtei alechem? The shtei alechem are the 2 breads, you must have missed that one, the 2 breads that you bought with the korban on Shavuos. So the whole thing of eating milchiks on Shavuos is nothing to do with Shavuos. It's to do with the korban they bought on Shavuos, and having milchiks and then fleishiks is going to require you to bring another bread, and therefore, I have 2 breads, bang, I have a zeicha, I have a remembrance of the 2 alechem, 2 breads. So he wanted a taina, right, this yid, regularly keep talking tiny to me like a beautiful svara. He said, I have a svara to say it's vade mazonos every cheesecake. Why? Because the whole yesod of cheesecake is for the mazonos. Because the whole reason is that you're bringing another bread. So the mazonos is b'mokum lechem. Therefore, your kavana should be on the mazonos underneath the cheese. Also the cheese, but also the mazonos. If your kavana is on the mazonos because you want the mazonos, that's got a din of a mazonos. Okay? So again, like I said, halacha d'maisa. If it's basically a sponge cake with a cheese filling, that's for sure going to be a mazonos. If it's got a very thick layer of mazonos on the bottom of the cheesecake, that's got a din of mazonos. If it's got a thin layer with a thick layer of cheese, and the ikar is the cheese, they gave me this to the cake, so then you can be mekel and you can make a shahakol. Cheese blintzes, obviously, are considered to be a mazonos. That's a double poshet ad ma'od, right? Because a cheese blintzer is basically a blintzer filled with some cheese or cream, whatever it is. Then it's a double poshet that is considered to be whatever it is.
Now, flour to keep it together.
What, the blintzer? No, I'm talking about a blintzer. A blintzer is the blintzer, the round thing. You put cheese in it and you roll it up. You serve it like that. Right. That's the mazonos.
Flour is only to keep the eggs together, but really it's like a scrambled eggs. Really, it should be.
It's not. A blintzer is. There's a lot of flour in that. Maybe not as much as I guess cake.
It's mostly eggs. Look at the color. It's eggs and cheese.
It's hard to say the flour there is just to stick the eggs together. It's to make it into what it is. It's to make it into a. I never heard of anybody not making a and not making mazonos on a blintzah, unless you make a blintzah like you do on Pesach, which is basically egg with a tiny sprinkle of flour, which you wouldn't make on Pesach, but theoretically, so then maybe that. But most times the flour, by the way, is more than just a sprinkle, and you make a mazonos on the entire thing. It doesn't make a difference. Again, mazonos always wins, unless it's literally put there for the side reason, okay? Remember, cheesecake is not considered to be a hard cheese. There's no svara of waiting, but you do need to rinse out your mouth, obviously, with hadacha, kinuach, and you should wash your hands if you touched it with your hands before eating meat in that case, and that's a very important thing. Okay, Rabbi Say, that was the idea of today. Remember the halacha, cheesecake. Have a wonderful Yom Tov.